Hi guys, I'm Nonhlanhla Khoza. Welcome to another episode of Sofa Talk with Nono. Today I have Sharleigh Wood with me. I went to university with Sharleigh Wood for 3 years and a further year, making it 4 years as teachers. Welcome to Sofa Talk, Sharleigh.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about education as adults. Tell me a bit more about yourself before we get into it.
So, as you said, studied film, media writing and production, to be precise, for 3 years, and then did a PGCE. Qualified teacher as well, and currently I'm an intern for a film production company in Manchester.
Wow, and how's that going?
Very well, yeah.
Very well,
it's good,
yeah.
Exciting.
What's your experience on higher education?
So it's been a bit mixed, really. I first went to university when I was 20. All my friends were going, so I thought that's what I needed to do. Wanted to move to a city. Went to Liverpool, John Moores. Didn't really go to lectures. Had a great time, but didn't go to lectures. And yeah, I failed pretty much everything. Dropped out in my first year. So obviously that wasn't very good at the time, but it actually ended up being a really good thing because it meant that I got the funding to go back to university later down the line, which I did when I was 26. And yeah, honestly, probably the best thing I've ever done. And I graduated with first class honours with that. So
okay,
yeah, definitely the right thing to do.
Would you say education has played like a big role to where you are now?
Massively. Obviously, not just because we're trained as teachers, but I've got a massive respect for teachers in general, but especially for the ones that taught us in our media writing and production course. It just gave me a lot of confidence. I'd always been a writer. I use that a lot to I only really wrote for myself, which sounds really cliche, but, getting emotions down on paper and things like that. But I never really knew how to make a career out of it. All I knew, I think when I was at school, someone said, "Oh, you can be a journalist," and that was it. And I've always been quite creative with my friends who were in creative jobs. Yeah. I just didn't know until I went to the open day and spoke to Mick Farr, who just told me a little bit about the media writing and production course when I'd originally gone for teaching straight away. And that's when I kind of knew that was for me, and I knew that I could do, that was something I could do well. So yeah, I really credit them.
After everything you've said about being 18 and going to university at that time and obviously not being prepared, do you feel that students should go to university at 18?
I really don't think that every 18-year-old should necessarily be looking at going to university, and I think it is, as well as I do, with teaching 14 plus. Yeah. You're teaching them at college to get ready to go into university straight away, and I don't think everyone's necessarily ready. We teach students sometimes as well before where it's been, you don't know why they're there, and it's not because they're not academically capable, they are, but I don't think it's really what they want to be doing. And a lot of them could actually benefit from going getting some work experience before they come into education anyway, because then at least then you're learning these skills and understanding how they transfer into the world of work afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the right thing, just in the same way that I don't think that just because you're 40 or 70 or whatever age that you shouldn't be in education either. I think if you get to a stage where you think, this job's not for me anymore and I've not got the qualifications to do what I want to do, I don't know why it means that you can't go back and get those qualifications.
I think earlier we touched on a 70-year-old that we both know of that came to Bolton Uni, and you get the younger ones coming to uni at, like I say, that 14 plus. We taught 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds that are still dealing with hormones, of growing up, and they don't know. The only society has kind of told them they have to be there. Yeah. But they don't know why they're there.
That's what they see as being successful at their way of achieving. So, yeah, and it's not always the case, I don't think.
So, obviously, within saying that, do you think that people are influenced by society in terms of what they do or what they should do education-wise?
Yeah, massively. I think it applies to all aspects, not just education, especially women, at this point you should be getting married, at this point you should be having kids. So when you look at that sort of trajectory, you know, this is where education fits into that, and then it should be marriage, and it should be kids, and then it should be this, and that's why I think so many people probably feel so unhappy, because they don't feel like they're
not achieving
milestones.
They're not hitting the milestones.
I just think if you are 30, 40, whatever, you're in a job that you don't like, if you don't, or you feel like you're lacking some purpose, why is that not a thing where you go, I'm going to go and do something like that and go to education? I understand that funding and things like that, it's different if you have got a family. I was lucky enough that when I was 26, I was in a position to be able to go, Mum, can I come back home for a little bit while I go back to university? And, you know, money and family and, you know, people that are depending on you, it does play a big part, and that I do think is something where, you know, the government could step in and maybe help out with that. But yeah, I don't see why. I just don't think age is a way to measure academic ability. That's all.
You feel like the government or whoever the powers might be have made it Bible that you have to be at a certain stage or a certain milestone in doing certain things. And then when people don't get there, they feel
not
like
necessarily government. I think each other. I think
human beings.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
just
we've
eradicate them.
I mean, it's not just come from nowhere, has it? But I do think
of course. I think there's a hierarchy.
I think we're really worried about being judged as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, saying to someone, you know, I'm going to go back to uni, and like, what the hell are you doing that for? And I think, especially when you go back to do something creative, I think there's a bit of a thing around creative subjects where it's sort of like, we're not going to get a job at the end.
You can achieve anything at
if you want
at
to do
any
it.
age.
If you want to do it and you're interested enough in whatever it is that you're doing, I don't care what subject it is, you can be successful at it.
Yeah.
You just need support, and that's something that you get.
Within you saying that, what would you say to somebody now who is considering going to higher education?
I think I would just say, what's stopping you? And if there is something genuinely stopping you, you've got to evaluate what that is. Like, again, if you're at the younger end, you know, do I really want to be going and doing this? But at the same time, if you're at the older stage, then nothing should really be.
But I actually feel like they're doing something more about it now. You know how when we were at uni doing teaching, they've got those T levels coming up, and they've got recently they did the other. What's that one where you don't necessarily need uni anymore, but you just go straight into work.
AXA?
No.
Oh, the apprenticeship. Yeah.
So
again, but it's the funding with that. It's like, how much do you get paid for apprenticeships now? And again, people have got families to support. So,
but I think they need programs where they're bringing the balance. There's no balance.
Yeah,
at the moment.
I think educational reform. There's no doubt about it that it's needed. Like, it's overdue, definitely. But I would just say, it's the best thing I ever did anyway, going back, and it just gave me a whole new lease of life, and I think that could do that for other people.
Okay, so do you feel like the 21st century has done anything for education then?
Do you mean...
do you think education has done anything?
I think a lot of teachers...
the 21st century.
I think a lot of teachers would say to you that it's not really... the system's dated. Like, I think there's a guy called Ken Robinson who did a TED Talk explaining about how the education system is kind of like based on sort of like the way we did things in the Industrial Revolution, like factory lines, and sort of like being such, you know, you go in, you have 2 lessons, you break, and then 2 lessons, then you dinner, 2 lessons, you go home, and it's just not the world we live in anymore. I don't know that many people who have a 9-to-5, Monday to Friday job. You know, you're adapting to this, to the way the world works, globalisation and things like that. It's just, I don't think the way that it is at the moment necessarily helps. I think these kids go in there as well, and it's sort of systematic, and like they get used to this routine, and then they leave with a degree, and you go out, and then they're in this sort of world where it's like, do I go freelance? Do I do, you know, do I want to do a full-time job? Do I want to do part-time and do something on the side? Like, they've got so many decisions. And like, there's a TED Talk as well on the quarter-life crisis, which I watched and I just totally related to, where there's this life coach who had one of her clients ring her in the middle of a cereal aisle, like having a full-on breakdown because she couldn't decide what cereal she wanted, and it was just like a total reflection of life, basically. So I think it affects that, and I don't think it's necessarily up to date.
Well, you heard it yourself. You had it here. What are the questions are you asking yourself? Do you have a son? Do you have a daughter that's 19 that's got questions about whether they should go to uni? Or do you have a relative that's older that wants to go to uni but is discouraged by everything else that people are saying around them? Do you have a friend? Do you want to show them this discussion I've just had with Sharleigh and see what they think? And after that, you just email us on Sofa Talk with Nono, or go and watch more programs about what I'll be talking about here on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.